What's going on, y'all, and welcome to episode 3, Monday's edition of Attacking All Sports. Today is December 20th, and today we have a lot to talk about, mostly in the football industry. So we're going to talk about the football industry first, get through all the games from Sunday, get through all the bowl games that just happened, a couple of transfers that happened, and a couple of commitments. And then we'll go ahead and get into the basketball portion of this episode. And then I'll give you all my hot take of the day. And then we will get out of here. So this episode is up a little later than usual for the main reason of I was trying to wait out for basketball rankings. And then I realized that the basketball rankings don't come out until like 1 o'clock my time. And the first bowl game's at 2:30, and I said I'd be live for it. So I don't want to try to rush this podcast out. So we'll pick up the basketball rankings tomorrow. We'll talk about the basketball rankings. So let's go ahead and have a conversation about the NFL action from yesterday and Saturday. Now, I do want to state, if you listened to Friday's podcast, I did say... Jeez Louise. I did say about the Washington game that for us winning, it's going to depend on our quarterback. And then 2 hours later, we found out that Taylor Heineke's not going to play because of COVID. So I wanted to get that out of the way first. But let's go and talk about Saturday's game first. We were supposed to have two. Raiders-Browns ends up getting rescheduled for the main reason of the Browns are having so many COVID issues. So we only had one game on Saturday, which is Colts versus Patriots, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not watch a lot of this game. Main reason is literally because we were out Saturday during the day. I came back and passed out on my bed around 5 o'clock, so I watched the end part of this. But from what I've seen and from what I heard, the Colts dominated this entire game. Statistically, the Colts dominated too. Carson Wentz did not. They did a Patriots, to be honest with you. Carson Wentz only threw 12 times and completed 5 of them, 57 yards with a touchdown and then an interception. And they just went straight to JT. JT, 29 carries, 170 yards and a touchdown, including that 67-yard breakout run to put the game over. That put the dagger in the Patriots. The receiving way, you got to talk about how, like, 5 different receivers caught it, and the highest yardage is 23 from Zach Pascal. Indy literally put it in the hands of Jonathan Taylor and said, here, you do this. But the defense did kind of help out. 2 picks for Indianapolis, Bobby Okereke and Darius Leonard. Apparently, Isaiah Rodgers had some kind of insane kick return. Darius Leonard had his a good game of statistically. DeForest Buckner had a sack. Looking on the Patriots side, I guess the biggest issue they had is, well, Mac Jones had a decent game. 26 for 45, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Ramondre Stevenson was the lead rusher at 36 yards on 10 carries. Kendrick Bourne had a couple touches. Mac Jones had a touch. Jacoby Myers had a touch. Jonnu Smith had a touch. Hunter Henry, though, was like the big receiver. 2 touchdowns on 6 catches for 77 yards. N'Keal Harry had 52 yards, which everyone said he was going to be good coming out of Arizona State, and he's been proving himself for someone that was a second-round pick. Kendrick Bourne's been doing good. Jacoby Myers had a good game. Gunnar Olszewski apparently got targeted. Apparently he dropped it. The problem with the New England, the turnovers. 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions. They did get a Devin McCourty interception, but 3 fumbles? Come on now. 3 fumbles? Gunnar Olszewski fumbled. Ramondre Stevenson fumbled. And Jonnu Smith picked up a fumble. So 2 fumbles, my bad. But still. 2 fumbles? My God. That was not the worst game. That was actually a good game for the Patriots, to be honest with you. But moving on. Let's go on to Sunday's games. Now, the games I did watch on Sunday was the Saints game, the Ravens game, and the Titans game. The rest I've seen off of highlights and statistical. But the Buffalo Bills getting a dub 31-14 over the Carolina Panthers to keep their playoff chances alive. Josh Allen, 19 for 34, 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Devin Singletary, being the running back I thought he would be. Devin Singletary has been up and down like crazy this year. It's actually annoying. 22 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. And then this freaking 2020 4th-round pick from UCF wide receiver Gabriel Davis decides to go out there and have 5 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. A 20-yard touchdown and a 14-yard touchdown. From out of nowhere for Buffalo. And then Cam Newton, 18 for 38, 156 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Cam Newton also had 15 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown. Amir Abdullah had 4 catches for 48 yards and a touchdown. The big thing I've heard about this game is that apparently the play calling was bad for both sides. Oh, it went pretty well for Buffalo. But apparently the play calling was bad for Carolina. Which I partly want to say I agree with, because I've seen some play calling issues with them. Nonetheless, there's nothing really that bad about it. Cam Newton fumbled twice, which is terrible. But this game I can't really talk too much about, because I didn't even catch it. This game wasn't even televised for me. I need to get Sunday ticket. Cardinals-Lions. My God. I think Arizona forgot how to play football this game. Jeez Louise. Kyler Murray, 23 for 41, 257 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He only had 4 carries for 3 yards. And on the receiving end, I understand they didn't have damn DeAndre Hopkins, but holy hell. Shout out Christian Kirk, though, for getting me like 42 fantasy points in my league. But Christian Kirk, 9 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Zach Ertz had a good game. A.J. Green had a good game. James Conner had a couple catches. Chase Edmonds was decent. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know why I always have trouble saying that name, but Amon-Ra St. Brown had a breakout game with Detroit. This was just a bad game all around. Any game where Colt McCoy needs to come in is a bad game, to be honest with you. But Jared Goff, 21 for 26, 216 yards, and 3 touchdowns, no picks. He had a good game. It was just, I saw a lot of people saying that the Cardinals lost this game without D-Hop. No. From what I've heard, this game was terrible from the start for Arizona. So, Arizona, we'll get to why Arizona has really put themselves into a ditch. Jets, Dolphins, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Dolphins won 31-24, keeping their playoff chances alive. Tua had a good game. Duke Johnson had over 100 yards on the floor, or on the floor, on the run. Cowboys, Giants, Cowboys won 21-6. Trayvon Diggs had his 10th interception. I wanna put something out there. If someone has 10 interceptions, it does not mean that they are a top corner. You can be a bad corner and get interceptions. Let's be honest. The amount of people and Cowboys fans that have told me that Trayvon Diggs is a better cornerback than Jalen Ramsey is insane. And when you ask them why they think that, their top comment is because he has more interceptions. Let's also remember that Trayvon Diggs has given up some of the most yardages as a corner. You can be a good corner and not get picks. Just wanted to put that out there. Nonetheless, Dak Prescott had a good game, 28-37, 217 yards and a touchdown. Mike Glennon started and Jake Fromm came in. I was so happy to see Jake Fromm come in, though. As a guy that enjoyed watching him at Georgia, I was so happy to see Jake Fromm come in. I could not be happier for Jake Fromm. Tony Pollard was like the big running back for Dallas. Devontae Booker was taking more yardage than Saquon on 7 less carries. He had 24 more yardage. And then on the receiving end, it was Mike Glennon throwing. There really wasn't nothing you could expect. Kenny Galladay still got over 50 yards. There was nothing you could do with Mike Glennon as your quarterback. 3 picks from Mike Glennon. There was really nothing. The best thing I gotta say is Michael Parsons. He has proven that he can do it all. With the fact that he can rush the quarterback and knock the football out of someone's hands in the end zone. But nonetheless, this game was Dallas from the start. Everyone was saying. Titans Steelers, the game that I was watching. So this game I'll talk a little bit more about since I know more about it. Ryan Tannehill had not a good game. 23-32, 153 yards and an interception. Was sacked 4 times. That's gonna be important. I was a little annoyed with Tennessee. So I'm in a dynasty league with some buddies of mine, and in that league I was running back short galore, because of COVID and IR and all that. So I started Dontrell Hilliard. He did okay, but they kept giving the ball to Deontay Foreman, which was partly annoying. And I also benched Ryan Tannehill. We'll talk about what quarterback I started later on, because the quarterback that I started actually exceeded expectations. But Big Ben, I really hope this is his last year. Big Ben's done. And it's not even Big Ben's fault. It's just that he's old. He's done. The only touchdown for Pittsburgh this game was a rushing touchdown from Big Ben, and the only touchdown for Tennessee this game was a rushing touchdown from Ryan Tannehill. There was nothing that wrong with this game. It's just that nothing happened, is what it felt like. Tennessee had the game from the start. They were going into the half 13-3, and then they came out and they just forgot how to play football. I mean, 3 turnovers in a row, a fumble, an interception, and a fumble, which turned into Pittsburgh winning this game. They had a nice drive going towards the end, and it was just that Nick Westbrook icon just could not get past that first down marker. But I don't think this hurts Tennessee that much. It just helps Pittsburgh with their playoff chances. It doesn't hurt Tennessee, though. They're still a good team. I'm not going to spend that much time on Texans-Jags. Let's just say that Brandon Cooks is a good receiver and Davis Mills is a decent quarterback. Bengals-Broncos. I'm not going to say that yet. Bengals-Broncos. Good game. Cincinnati looked good from what I saw. Cincinnati did look good. 49ers-Falcons. 49ers just took it away from the Falcons. Packers-Ravens. I want to talk about this game. This is the game I mostly want to talk about because we saw a couple things. One, the first thing we saw is that the Ravens might not need to re-sign Lamar. If you guys have heard Ravens talk, especially someone that lives in a Ravens household that's not a Ravens fan, one thing that I keep hearing is that the Ravens should not be giving Lamar Jackson the money that he wants. Talks are that Lamar Jackson's going to want like a Aaron Rodgers contract. He has an MVP. He's a top 5, top 7 quarterback, depending on who you ask. For me, he's top 7. And the fact that Tyler Huntley, who from the University of Utah, I think this is his second year. I think he was undrafted too. Yeah. The fact that he did everything that Lamar Jackson can do, with a little bit more weapons, he'd be insane. From the parts that I saw that really impressed me, he can get out of the pocket, he can run, he's not afraid. The only issue with Baltimore is I have an issue with Harbaugh a little bit. Now, anyone that knows me knows that I love John Harbaugh. Top coach of all time. Really good head coach. Really shows respect to his players. Really shows love to his players. I sometimes think stress gets to him. This is the second week in a row where all you need is a PAT to tie the game and you go for 2 and don't get it. Also, this is the second week in a row where the intended play was supposed to go to Mark Andrews on the 2-point conversion. It doesn't go as planned, and when they show the replay, Marquise Brown is wide open in the end zone for the win. Don't get me wrong. Looking for Mark Andrews is not a bad idea. He is a top 5 tight end. In some conversations, he's top 3. I think he's interchangeable with somebody. I think he's like 3 or 4, depending on who you ask. For me, it goes Kittle. Yes, I have Kittle number 1. Sue me. Kittle, Kelsey, and then now it's Andrews. Beginning of the year, it was Waller. Just because Waller has been a great tight end last year, and 8 years he's been a tight end. And now I think Andrews is number 3. He could be fixed in and out with Waller. You could probably even fix him in and out with like Hawkinson, or there's other options. But so Andrews is a great tight end. I just feel like that they keep trying to feed him the ball, and defenses are starting to lock him down in late game situations. That's how I feel about it, though. With that, moving on. I don't think the Ravens. If Lamar wants money, I think they're fine to not give them money, to not give him the money. He's a great quarterback, but you have somebody that does it pretty much the same thing Lamar does, which is run. Run and has a decent arm. And all you need to do is teach him the playbook, and I think he could be just as good. He's not going to be just as good as Lamar, but he's going to be up there. So, we'll see what Baltimore ends up doing. Also, yes, I know the Ravens had so many issues happen with COVID and IR and all that. They played a great game. You also were playing like one of the best teams in the NFL right now, so I don't blame them. And then finally, Saints Bucks. This is the quarterback that I picked to start in my Dynasty League, which is good old Taysom Hill. And I'll be honest with you, Taysom Hill did not disappoint. You know who did disappoint? The Bucks. They didn't even score. Their first loss to the home team. I'm kidding. I'm giving them a hard time. The Bucks played good, though. Marquise Callaway had a breakout game for the Saints, though. But the Bucks also had to deal with some injuries. Evans went down. Godwin went down. Fournette went down. And yet the only one that I feel like they missed is Fournette. I'm sorry. The only ones I feel like they didn't miss is Fournette after what Ronald Jones did with his carries. But Brady had a bad game. 26 for 48, 214, and a pick. Taysom Hill, 13 for 27, 154 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Nothing you can say. There's only certain things you can say, certain things that you can't say. It's just that this game was a bad offensive, great defensive game. It's just how it is. 9-0 was the final score. It was a game where Brady did not look good. Brady had injury issues. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, your top 2 receivers. Gronkowski had 11 targets and only caught 2 of them. Scotty Miller had 3 targets. You gave the ball very little times. It's just you just did what you work with. With that being said, this is the current playoff standings right now. So KC would get the bye, with the only team being 10-4. The Patriots win the tiebreaker over Tennessee based on head-to-head after they played each other, and the Patriots did end up beating Tennessee about 3 weeks ago. So that's why they're ahead Tennessee. So they have the 2 seed. Tennessee has the 3 seed. Both are 9-5. The rest of the teams are 8-6. There are 4 of them that made the playoffs and 1 that is on the outside looking in, which is Cincinnati made it because they just took over the AFC North after the Ravens lost. Bengals win. Due to head-to-head. They will actually play this next Sunday coming up. The Colts take the 5 seed. They win over Buffalo, Los Angeles, and Baltimore based off of win percentage in conference games. Chargers do the same thing, and so does Buffalo. Baltimore is the 8 seed right now on the outside looking in. It's going to be crazy how to see what goes on. Well, actually, Buffalo's over Baltimore because of common games, which I'm still trying to figure out what is a common game. And something I will say that I don't think people understand, 8 through 13, any single one of those teams can make the playoffs. Ravens are 8-6, Cleveland is 7-6, but they are playing today against the Raiders. Pittsburgh 7-61, Miami 7-7, Denver 7-7, and the Raiders are 6-7. Any one of those teams can make the playoffs with just a couple good games. Moving on to the NFC. Congratulations to the Green Bay Packers for clinching the NFC North. Dallas takes the 2 seed based off a percentage in conference games. Dallas is 8-1 in NFC conference games. And then Tampa Bay took 3rd place. They're winning over Arizona based on strength of victory. Arizona's the 4 seed. The Rams are the 5 seed. They play tomorrow night against Seattle at 9-4. Cowboys, Bucks, and Cardinals are all 10-4, by the way. And the Packers are 11-3. 49ers are 8-6. Saints are 7-7. Washington 6-7 at 8. And this is the same thing with this NFC right here. 8 through like 13 can still make it. They all have losing records, and you're on the outside looking in. I don't think Washington can get in because we did play New Orleans and lost to New Orleans. So New Orleans winning kind of killed us a little. We kind of wanted them to lose, but it's all good. We're just gonna be 8th place going into tomorrow. And then the Eagles played the Saints as well. So no matter who wins tonight or wins the Washington games, New Orleans secures at 7th spot. So we're on the outside looking in. Just one game out. So we're still looking in. But nonetheless, those are your playoff standings right now. It's insane how crazy this is going to be the next couple weeks. All right. Let's move over to the college bowl games a little bit. That took 20 minutes to talk about, but there was a lot to talk about. College bowl games, I'm going to fly by these very quickly. Middle Tennessee looked good. Coastal Carolina looked good against Northern Illinois. They both won their games. BYU losing. I don't know what happened. The guy who I expected to have a good game, Tyler Algier, had an amazing game. Had the game of his life, I feel like. 27 carries, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Just UAB was a better team. Louisiana beat Marshall. Shout out Bailey Zappi, who is now the all-time single season touchdown pass leader at 61 passing touchdowns. He needed 62, I'm sorry. He needed 5 and he went out and threw 6. So shout out Bailey Zapp. Western Kentucky beat Appalachian State. Western Kentucky was a good team this year. Fresno State beat UTEP. Liberty destroyed Eastern Michigan. Malik Willis is trying to up his draft stock. Is he a junior or is he a senior? He's a junior. Malik Willis might not go into this draft class, by the way. And Utah State beat Oregon State. Looking into today, Old Dominion versus Tulsa. I will be live for it at 2:30 Eastern today. Let's move over to the NBA because there's a couple things I want to talk about the NBA. The big thing is that I'm not going to go over games with the NBA. There's only one thing to talk about, and that's the COVID issues. These teams are having so many issues with COVID. The NBA just put out a thing to where for every 2 players who caught COVID, you can sign 1 replacement player. So expect a lot of G League players to get signed to play for teams for like a week. NBA is just going down a path I don't like. I wouldn't be surprised if here soon we get told of a postponed season or something. Because the NHL is doing the same thing. They just canceled all border transfer, all cross-border games. So, but nonetheless, there's nothing to talk about with NBA except for the COVID issues. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this up with the hot take of the day, which I'm going to be biased. This team's been hot recently. By that, I mean in the slightest that this team has been playing good basketball. Just can't get the dubs in. I think they're going to get it done today. I think the Kings upset the Warriors tonight at 10 o'clock. That's my hot take of the day. With that being said, I hope you all listened and enjoyed this podcast today. Make sure you enjoy all the games today in every sport. We didn't talk about college basketball, I know, because we're going to talk about it tomorrow, mostly when the new rankings come out. The big thing I want to talk about, though, is Purdue plays, Baylor plays, Gonzaga plays. So we have a chance to see 3 teams play bad teams that could get upset. But we'll see what happens. I'll be live at 2:30 for the Old Dominion versus Tulsa game. And I hope you all enjoyed the podcast, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.